Today's story is called St. Agnes Asylum, Unearthing Madness. A group of friends embarks on a harrowing exploration of the abandoned St. Agnes Asylum, seeking to unravel its dark secrets. As they delve deeper into its nightmarish corridors, they confront malevolent forces and unearth the horrifying truth behind the asylum's gruesome past. In a battle against the supernatural, their very sanity is at stake as they strive to survive the descent into madness. Part 1. The Urban Legend. In the heart of a small, quiet town stood an imposing structure that cast a long, foreboding shadow, the abandoned St. Agnes Asylum. The building's cracked windows and weathered facade bore the weight of its dark history. For generations, St. Agnes had been the subject of local lore, a place whispered about in hushed tones. The asylum had once housed the mentally ill, but stories of mistreatment, experiments gone awry, and mysterious disappearances had transformed it into a breeding ground for urban legends. One fateful night, a group of curious teenagers gathered around a campfire, sharing tales of the asylum's gruesome past. As the flames crackled and cast eerie shadows on their faces, they made a pact to explore St. Agnes and uncover the truth behind the stories. With a sense of trepidation and excitement, they set their plans in motion, determined to unravel the mysteries that shrouded the abandoned asylum. As the days passed, the group of friends gathered information about St. Agnes. They scoured local archives, newspaper clippings, and spoke to older town residents who still remembered the asylum's ominous presence. The more they delved into the history, the more disturbing details they uncovered. St. Agnes had operated for decades as a mental institution, but rumors of unethical treatments and bizarre experiments persisted. The most chilling stories spoke of a hidden underground wing where patients had been subjected to unspeakable horrors. The teens couldn't resist the allure of the unknown. They meticulously planned their excursion, studying blueprints of the asylum, procuring flashlights, and even bringing a Ouija board to communicate with any restless spirits that might linger. On a moonless night, they stood at the asylum's looming entrance, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and anticipation. The dilapidated building exuded an oppressive aura, but their determination to uncover the truth outweighed their anxiety. They pushed open the heavy, creaking doors, and as they crossed the threshold, the darkness of the asylum swallowed them whole. The air inside was heavy with the scent of decay and abandonment. Their flashlights cut through the blackness, revealing forgotten corridors and shattered remnants of furniture. As they ventured deeper into the asylum's heart, they couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Whispers, like faint echoes of despair, brushed against their ears. The friends exchanged nervous glances but pressed on, determined to confront the mysteries that awaited them within the haunted asylum. Part 2. The Haunting Descent. As the group of friends ventured further into the abandoned St. Agnes Asylum, the oppressive atmosphere seemed to tighten around them like a vise. Their flashlights pierced the darkness, revealing forgotten hallways that twisted and turned, each corner holding the promise of hidden horrors. The stories they had heard about St. Agnes echoed in their minds, of patients subjected to cruel treatments, of experiments that had pushed the boundaries of ethical and moral standards, and of the inexplicable disappearances that had plagued the asylum's history. Despite their fear, they were determined to uncover the truth. The asylum's walls bore witness to years of neglect and decay. Peeling paint and crumbling plaster gave the impression that the building itself was slowly succumbing to madness. It was as if the very essence of the place held a malevolent grudge against those who dared to intrude. As they delved deeper, the friends began to experience strange phenomena. Whispers, faint at first, grew louder, forming chilling, indecipherable sentences. Shadows darted in their peripheral vision, and cold spots materialized, causing shivers to race down their spines. In one particularly eerie corridor, they stumbled upon a rusted door that seemed out of place, its handle encrusted with years of neglect. It resisted their attempts to open it, but their determination prevailed, and with a collective effort, they forced the door wide. Inside, they discovered a room unlike any other they had encountered in the asylum. It was a small, windowless chamber with walls covered in cryptic symbols and faded, indecipherable writings. In the center of the room, a decrepit wooden chair stood as a lone sentinel. As they cautiously approached the chair, the air grew thick with anticipation. It was as if the room itself held its breath, waiting for something to happen. With trembling hands, one of the friends touched the chair, and the very moment their fingers made contact, a bone-chilling scream pierced the air, seeming to emanate from the very walls. Panic surged through the group as they fled the room, slamming the door shut behind them. The asylum seemed to come alive with malevolence, its haunted past manifesting in inexplicable and terrifying ways. Haunted by the room's unsettling encounter, they knew that they were now inextricably linked to the asylum's dark history. The journey to uncover its secrets had taken an even more sinister turn, and the friends realized they had unwittingly become part of the horror that awaited within St. Agnes. Part 3. The Sinister Revelations. The chilling encounter in the room with cryptic symbols left the group of friends shaken to their core, but their determination to uncover the asylum's secrets remained unshaken. They pressed on, their flashlights cutting through the darkness as they navigated the labyrinthine corridors of St. Agnes. The asylum seemed to respond to their intrusion with increasing malevolence. Whispers grew louder, now distinctly audible, as if a multitude of tortured souls clamored for attention. Apparitions, shadowy and indistinct, flitted at the periphery of their vision, leaving behind an unsettling trail of dread. In their search for answers, they stumbled upon a series of patient rooms. The decaying remnants of beds and restraints bore witness to the suffering that had once filled these spaces. It was in one of these rooms that they made a gruesome discovery, a diary hidden beneath a rotting mattress. The diary belonged to a former nurse who had worked at St. Agnes in its final years. Its pages chronicled the descent of the asylum into madness. Patients had spoken of seeing spectral figures in the dead of night, of being tormented by unseen forces, and of being subjected to cruel experiments. One entry stood out, describing a hidden underground section of the asylum, the very same place they had heard rumors about. According to the nurse's account, it was here that the most grotesque and inhumane treatments had been conducted, far from the prying eyes of the outside world. Dread washed over the friends as they realized the diary pointed to the existence of the hidden wing. Despite their fear, their curiosity propelled them forward. Armed with the newfound knowledge, they followed a trail of faded symbols that led them deeper into the bowels of St. Agnes. The air grew colder, and the whispers of the asylum's tormented souls reached a deafening crescendo. It was as if the very building was trying to deter them, to drive them away from the horrifying truth that lay in wait. Finally, they reached a massive steel door, its surface etched with sinister symbols. With trembling hands, they managed to force it open, revealing a dimly lit corridor that descended into darkness. A palpable malevolence hung in the air, threatening to suffocate them as they stepped into the hidden underground wing of St. Agnes. The group of friends had now entered the heart of the asylum's horrors, and they were about to confront the chilling reality of what had transpired in this forsaken place. Part 4. The Malevolent Resurgence. As the group descended further into the hidden underground wing of St. Agnes Asylum, a profound sense of dread enveloped them. The air grew frigid, and the oppressive silence was broken only by the sound of their uneven footsteps echoing in the dimly lit corridor. The symbols etched into the steel door had warned them of the malevolence that lay beyond, and their flashlights revealed a macabre tableau. Rows of small, grimy cells lined the corridor, each with a narrow cot and restraints affixed to the walls. It was in these cells that the most horrific treatments had been inflicted upon the patients. The whispers, once mere echoes of torment, now seemed to emanate from the very walls, forming a symphony of suffering that reverberated through the explorers' minds. Apparitions materialized before them, their ghostly forms contorted in agony, reaching out with spectral hands as if pleading for release. In one particularly sinister cell, they discovered a blood-stained operating table surrounded by rusted surgical instruments. The diary they had found earlier had hinted at the unspeakable experiments conducted within these walls. It was a place where sanity had unraveled, where the line between science and sadism had blurred. With every step, the group felt the malevolent energy of the asylum intensify, as if the building itself sought to devour their souls. Panic gnawed at the edges of their resolve, but they knew that they had come too far to turn back now. Their journey led them to a chamber at the heart of the underground wing, a place where the darkest secrets of St. Agnes were stored. Within this chamber, they discovered a series of journals, diaries, and notes left behind by the asylum staff. The entries painted a horrifying picture of the asylum's descent into madness. Patients had been subjected to experimental treatments that defied all ethics and morality. The staff had documented the patients' descent into madness, their physical and mental deterioration, and the terrifying encounters with entities that defied rational explanation. One entry stood out, a desperate plea from a nurse who had witnessed the manifestation of a malevolent force. She spoke of a darkness that had taken root within St. Agnes, a force that fed on fear and despair, and how it had driven some of the staff to madness. As the explorers read the final entry, a bone-chilling realization washed over them. The malevolent force described in the nurse's account had not been contained within the asylum's walls. It had survived, and it had been waiting, biding its time, for intruders to once again enter its domain. The group of friends exchanged fearful glances, knowing that they had unwittingly unleashed a malevolent entity that hungered for their souls. The true horror of St. Agnes Asylum had been awakened, and they were now trapped in a nightmarish battle for their lives. Part 5. The Descent into Madness. In the heart of the underground wing of St. Agnes Asylum, the group of friends found themselves in a desperate battle against the malevolent force that had been unleashed. The oppressive atmosphere seemed to close in on them, as if the very walls of the asylum had come alive with malevolence. As they ventured deeper, the diary entries they had discovered continued to recount the horrors of the asylum's final days. Staff members had vanished without a trace, and the patients had descended further into madness, their screams echoing through the underground corridors. The whispers of tormented souls grew louder, forming a chorus of despair that echoed in their ears. Shadows, dark and insubstantial, writhed around them, their movements exuding a palpable malice. The very air seemed to vibrate with malevolent energy. In a hidden chamber, they found an old phonograph, its needle trembling as it played a haunting melody. The music seemed to beckon them deeper into the darkness, its eerie notes resonating with the suffering that had saturated the asylum's history. With each step, their surroundings shifted and twisted, defying the laws of reality. Doors appeared where none should, and the corridors seemed to elongate and narrow, disorienting the group. They realized that they were trapped in a nightmarish labyrinth, a realm where the boundaries between reality and madness had blurred. In the center of this ever-shifting maze, they encountered a manifestation of the malevolent force, a swirling, shadowy vortex that hungered for their souls. Desperation and fear gripped the group as they fought to resist the entity's pull, their very sanity hanging in the balance. It was then that one of the friends remembered the diary's mention of the force feeding on fear and despair. With a newfound resolve, they focused on their determination to survive, refusing to succumb to the malevolence that sought to consume them. Their collective willpower disrupted the entity's hold, causing it to writhe and shriek in agony. With a final desperate push, they shattered the malevolent force, banishing it back into the depths of the asylum. As the entity dissipated, the asylum itself seemed to sigh with relief, its malevolence receding. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the group of friends found themselves standing in a now eerily quiet corridor. Exhausted and emotionally drained, they knew that they had faced the darkest horrors of St. Agnes Asylum and emerged victorious. With trembling hands, they retraced their steps, back through the labyrinthine corridors and up to the surface. The group emerged from the asylum into the pale light of dawn, their bodies battered and their minds scarred by the horrors they had witnessed. St. Agnes had exacted a terrible toll on them, but they had conquered the malevolent entity that had haunted its depths. As they walked away from the abandoned asylum, they couldn't help but look back at the looming structure, a place where madness had reigned and darkness had thrived. The secrets of St. Agnes would forever remain buried within its decaying walls, a testament to the enduring power of the supernatural and the indomitable spirit of those who dared to confront it. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel to support us.